Mm. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Sifu, I'm gonna start now. Good morning. Welcome back to Calvin Chin's Martial Arts Academy. This is once again Lucien, and we're here for all ages Kung Fu class. This is our Hung Kuen or Hung Gar Kung Fu. Oh, actually, let me just clip this so it doesn't go anywhere. And yeah, thanks again for joining. If you haven't already, please click subscribe, smash that like button, and leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. If there's something you want to see that you haven't seen, anything like that, please do feel free to let us know. In the meantime, as per usual with this class, it's a 1-hour class. We got a lot to get through. We're going to do our series of kind of fundamental warm-up exercises, some bridges, some blocking and punching, that type of thing, some punching drills, some kicking drills, and then we're going to get into our Hung Kuen 5 stances drill. The first form we teach here, which is Moy Fa Kuen, the second form, which is Lau Gar Kuen, third form, which is Bumble Kuen, and then we'll see how much time we have. At that point, usually these days, Sifu comes in and he'll give some further instruction. If you want to leave a comment, please feel free to. As I said, we love to hear from you. When I'm in front of the camera, usually I'm the guy behind the scenes running the streams and making sure that technically things are sound. And so I usually am the person moderating the chat and answering comments as we go. Obviously, when I'm in front of the camera, I can't do that. And also, normally, when Sifu's in front of the camera, I'm able to edit from one camera to the next. We have 1, 2, 3 cameras in here, and we have another 3 cameras in the other room. When I'm in front of the camera, obviously, I can't do that. So this one camera angle we have, please do try to use the mirrors as well, and that should help you to be able to see from every angle. So we start out feet shoulder width. Nice big hoop. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Reaching over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Raising the arms, stretching towards the feet. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. And again. 1, 2, 3. Right. 2, 3. Left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. And again. 1, 2, 3. Right. 2, 3. Left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. Hands on the waist. Rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Crossing the arms, knees, big circle. 1. Keeping the feet flat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Switch hands, switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Hands on the waist, turning the head side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Tilting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Rotation, looking all the way around. 1, 2, and 3. And we switch. 1, 2, and 3. Let's open up our feet. Arms out, turn the waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Crossing your fingers, turn to the right. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, and 3. Both feet flat. We switch. Switch, toe up. Switch, toe up. Standing up. Both legs straight, bending at the waist, and stretch. Switch. And to the middle. Bring your feet in, toes out. Good, let's sit. Butterfly. Right leg out. Stretch. Switch. Stretch. To the front. Hands behind you, bounce, switch, and up. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Let's open up to a horse stance. We're going to make fists, raise them up, elbows back, bend the knees, heels out, toes out, heels out, toes out. You want your feet parallel. Straight line from toe to toe. Feet are flat. Bend the knees out, straight back, and relax body. Here we go. Punching Ping Choi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Closing. 1, 2. Now we're going to do low block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. Middle block. Come across the body, stopping at the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. High block. We lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. Lim Wam Sam Sik. All 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Closing. 1, 2. Low block with a punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Closing. 1, 2. Middle block with a punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. High block with a punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. Danji Kyo Sil. Pull it back out to the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Going low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Going high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last set. In front of you, shoulder width, shoulder height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Thrust, flip, roll, press. Thrust, flip, roll, press. Thrust, flip, roll, press. And we close. 1, 2. Closing our stance. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Okay, so next up we're going to do punches. Feet shoulder width, slightly bent, and your feet facing the front. Straight line between the toes. Feet are parallel. And that's true no matter what direction we're facing. We want our feet in this position with the knees slightly bent. Left hand on the waist, right fist to the chest, and punch in and out in the center. You're hitting with a vertical fist. Okay, switch, punching with the left, punch. You want to keep your elbow out to the side, keeping the alignment of your chest square to the front direction. Okay, stop. Same thing with the elbow. You don't want the elbow over here where you're turning the chest this way. Keep the chest facing the front direction, elbow out to the side, and punch with the right. Okay, stop, switch, punch. Okay, stop. Both fists by the ears, vertical elbow, so not up here, but down. We're going to turn the waist, Hiwa Choi, and come down at a diagonal strike towards your opposite knee. Obviously, don't punch yourself in the knee. Keep your back straight, turn your waist, and keep your head facing forward. Okay, stop. Bina Choi, we raise the elbow parallel to the floor, fist right at your chest, and you're going to strike out with the edge of the fist and come back. Try to keep your body relaxed, all the muscles actually relaxed as you punch. Okay, let's switch and punch. Always keep your eyes focused on your fist as it's in motion. This helps to train you to see punches coming and also ensures that your punch goes where you want it to go. Okay, stop. Chaelun Choi, cartwheel punch. One fist comes over the top. The size of this circle that you're making, your fist should line up with the elbow of the opposite arm. So you can see that that determines the size. This is too big. This is too small. Lining the fist up with the elbow is just right. Okay, stop. Raising your right elbow. Sorry, just want to make sure yep, I'm on. Okay, just was checking, I panicked. Then I remembered I'm usually the one calling, so if they're calling about sound, that's usually me. So it's unlikely that it was sound. Okay, so again, we're going to raise the elbow parallel to the floor. We want to turn the wrist so the fist is, the back of the fist is facing out, and we strike out with the back of the fist. Okay, switch and punch. Okay, good. Lightly touching with the left toe, left fist out. You're going to switch stance, but don't put your weight forward. When you switch your stance, keep your weight back so that the weight is off of the front foot so you can move it quickly again. And go. Very good. Deep breathing. Very good. One of the things I do want to mention, Sifu mentioned in the earlier classes, so our state, Massachusetts, has just rolled things back to stage 2. Stage 4 was the stage that all the gyms and everybody was allowed to open. So what Sifu was saying is that he's going to run a couple of one-on-one private lessons, which he's still able to do due to social distancing, and he's still going to have a couple of kind of the smaller, really small classes with people probably more socially distanced and masks, all those precautions that we normally take, but we won't be streaming during that time. I believe that that's supposed to kick in on the 18th. And so from the 24th to the 1st, the school is closed for vacation anyway. So we won't be streaming live from the 18th till the 1st. But that being said, we have all of this content up. I will continue releasing the shorter format videos that we were doing a couple weeks ago where, some of those videos are just a single form being worked on. Some of those videos are edited from other classes we've had where Sifu gave some awesome instruction on some details. So please do check back to our channel for that. And, tell your friends and loved ones, because we're still trying to grow the channel. Even though we've become monetized, that's not the end. That's really just a new beginning. All right. So in any case, now we're going to do kicks. Oh, okay. Yep. Sure. All right. So for youth 18 and under, there's no restriction. So for all of our kind of... Sure. Right. So for some of our youth students, there won't be any major changes there. But we did want to just kind of let everybody know. And again, please come back to our channel, come back often, watch often. Even though we may not be streaming live during that time, I will still release the shorter format videos, which tend to deal with one subject at a time versus running through the whole class with all the exercises and warm-ups and punches and kicks that we do here before we get to form. So you may find that also quite useful. All right, so we're going to put our left foot forward, right foot back. Your toe of your front foot lines up the heel of your back foot. Your left knee is bent and your right leg is straight. Left hand up, this on guard position in the bow stance. And we're going to punch, toe out, lift the knee, kick with the toe pointed, step back and punch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We switch. This time we're going to kick with the heel pushing out with the bottom of the foot. So where the front kick with the toe, that snap kick is like a rising kick, this kick is a thrusting kick pushing out. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's switch. Straight leg kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we switch. We're going to do Wong Sohoi, roundhouse to the waist. 1, 2, 3. Remember to keep both hands up. 4, don't drop your guard just because you're kicking. 5, 6. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Very good. Deep breathing. Just going to get a quick sip of water here and we'll continue. All right, so now that we've made it through our warm-ups, we're going to start with 5 stances. This is a drill that our Sifu Grandmaster Calvin Chin created. It really houses a lot of really useful and good fundamental information. So it's like anything else. If you just kind of rush through it, or you don't pay much attention to what's going on, then it probably won't mean that much to you. But if you take the details of the footwork, the transition from one step to the other into account, along with the hand or arm, the bridge techniques, whether they be offensive or defensive, there's really a lot of strong material in here that can improve your understanding and your ability. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it to 4 directions. I'm going to start going this way. We'll do 4 left turns, which, as you probably know, gets us right back to where we started. We start the ready position, make fist, raise them up, open the hands, drop the elbows, push out. Palms up, make fists, and pull. Open, and we push out. 1, 2, 3. Double elbows, press, thrust, press. Big hoop, and we close. Right fist on top, step out to offset horse stance, chun kyo, sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Step all the way through, left hand underneath, remove your elbow, punch. Toe out, big cross step, big hoop, dragon whips tail, spin out, corner back fist to the head, intercept, cat stance, punch. Step straight back, cover, leaning stance, high block, low block, left knee up, turn, drop and chop, uppercut, and we close. Now I'm going to be coming towards camera, but I'm going to offset from the camera slightly. Right fist on top again, offset, chun kyo. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Left hand underneath, step all the way through, elbow, punch. Toe out, big cross step, dragon whips tail, pivot out, corner back fist to the head, intercept, cat stance, punch. Step straight back, cover. High block, low block, left knee up, drop and chop, uppercut, and we close. We're going to the left, so I'm going to come over to this side just to try to stay in frame. Right fist in top, offset, chun kyo, sliding step, punch. Left hand underneath, step through, elbow, punch. Toe out, big cross step, dragon whips tail, spin out, corner back fist to the head, intercept, cat stance, punch. Step straight back, leaning stance, high block, low block, left knee up, turn, drop and chop, uppercut, and close. And for the final direction, going towards the mirror, right fist on top, chun kyo, punch. Left hand underneath, step through, elbow, punch. Toe out, big cross step, dragon whips tail, spin out, corner back fist to the head, intercept, cat stance, punch. Step straight back, cover, leaning stance, high block, low block, left knee up, turn, drop and chop, uppercut, and we close. So deep breathing. All right, so that's 5 stances. One of the things I want to point out in that drill is that it matters a lot where you put your feet. And that's true whether it's 5 stances or any of your Kung Fu forms. So if you're in a toe-to-toe stance and you go to a leaning stance, your stance is going to be a little bit thin. You don't have quite enough balance. You can't bend the knee forward properly without losing balance. When you step through, if you step over here, your punch goes off to that direction. So in all of these cases, training yourself to step out to a good offset horse stance, which is toe to heel, so that when you make your transition to leaning, you still have good alignment and balance. When you step all the way through, you have to get used to knowing where that front foot is landing and make sure it's in the right place. So when you make your transition, that everything works properly, and again, you keep your balance and you end up having some power in your technique without having to use a lot of muscle, right? The problem with using too much muscle is you're reliant on that alone. And if you encounter someone who's much stronger than you, which there are plenty of people out there who are pretty strong, then your power is overcome by their power. But if you're using good body mechanics, good structure, when you're moving the way that Kung Fu teaches us to move, that person's strength becomes negated and isn't as much of an issue. So that's that. So next up, we're going to do Moy Fa Kuen. This is the plum flower fist set. It's the first form that we teach here at Calvin Chen's Martial Arts Academy. So we're here, make fists, raise them up, left hand middle, salute, step back, and we close. So we're going to turn, step out, high block, low block. Pull your foot back half the distance of your stance, cross step, step out, right hand middle block, turn. Dragon claw, right fist on top, step back. Notice it's offset. Chun kill, scoop. Step all the way up. Uppercut, again, toe to heel in a leaning stance. Left hand on top, cat stance, remove. Step up, offset, punch. Squatting stance. Step out, uppercut. Left hand on top, remove. Step up, punch. Toe out, cat stance, high block hammer fist. Step out, cross block, turn to the corner, drunken punch. Left hand underneath, remove, high block. Step out, punch. Squatting. Uppercut, sliding step, punch. Squatting. Elbow up, step up, cat stance, lift, cut, offset, turn, double palm strike to the waist. Remove, step up, punch. I'm going to move up to stay in frame. Toe out, step to the rear, then bring the fist across, intercept, pull the elbow back, rolling elbow. We're going to roll the elbow, turn the waist, relax the body, let it go. Low corner back fist, palm strike to the chest, high block, outside crescent, hop kick, press, turn your waist trap, back fist, remove, punch, right fist on top, step in, step back, clear the path forward, chun kill, sliding step, palm strike to the waist, pull your foot back, cross step, scoop, press, kick, punch, dragon, right fist on top, step back, chun kill, punch, middle block, salute. 1, 2, 3, and we close. So deep breathing. So just a couple of points on Moy Fa Kuen. Let me just adjust that, yeah. So when we make that transition, whether it's squatting or cat stance to here, we don't want to bring the fist all the way over, right? Because if a punch or a kick, something offensive is coming towards us this way, if we turn all the way to the side, it's going to hit us before we can get to here. So what we want to do is bring the fist 45 degrees off the body from here, 45, set the fist vertical, and then you can drop. That's going to allow you to get there faster. It's the same in the squatting stance, right? So these are just little details. A lot of times people make this big movement, but you really don't have time to do that. One other thing I want to point out is with drunken punch, a lot of times we see that people kind of do this really exaggerated drunken punch, but a lot of times they're kind of off balance and the movement of the arms is kind of excessive. So when you're here, you turn to the rear, you put the X over your knee, you come back to the middle, and this is an even motion from the chest as you make that transition with the leg. So it should be fairly even. It shouldn't be way out here. You should be able to see right up your arm without tilting your head, just looking forward. And your other fist is here. So we're here, offset, and it's an even motion, right? This intercepts this way, okay? All right, so those are, again, just a couple of little details that hopefully can help improve your understanding of what's going on there. So next up, we have Lau Gar Kuen. Lau Gar is the Lau family's fist set, and this is the second form that we teach here at Calvin Chen's Martial Arts Academy. So here we go. Make fists, raise them up, leaning stance, middle block. Turn, toe out, cat stance, salute. Step straight back, pull your elbows in. Shift, pivot, pivot, middle block. Cat stance, salute. Step straight back, turn, feet together, and we close. Double punches to the ears. Double punches down. Cross lift, push out. Scoop with the right hand on top. Cross step with the left foot. Middle block with your left hand. Cat stance, punch. Step straight back, cover. Leaning stance, high block, low block. Turn your waist, chop to the waist. Pull your foot back, cross step, scoop. Make sure your weight comes forward. Press and kick and punch. Right fist on top, step in, Step back, clear the path forward. Your offset horse stance, Cheurng Kuen, sliding step, punch. Step all the way through, set your position, turn, Tindu, lift, Songgong. Elbows down, dragon. Turn, toe out, big cross step, high block, low block. Palm strike to the waist. Pull your foot back, cross step, scoop, press, kick, hop, thrust. Cut, double chop, cross step, Tindu. Kick, phoenix eye. So we press and thrust out. Even though this position is the same as a back fist, the direction is different. So a back fist comes down, uppercut comes up, and a phoenix eye thrusts out. They all end in the same place, but they get there with a different methodology. Step up, Cheurng Kuen, punch. Left hand on top, step through, fold, thrusting, elbow, dropping, palm. Back fist, right fist on top, step up, Cheurng Kuen, punch. Step all the way through, set your position, Tindu. Songgong, elbows down, dragon, turn, big cross step, high block, low block, spin out, palm strike, pull your foot back, cross step, scoop, press, kick, hop, thrust, open, chop, cross step, Tindu, kick, phoenix eye, both hands down, palms facing out, fingers to the left, turn the waist to the corner, cross step, right hand on top. We're going to turn the wheel as we turn the waist. So we turn, left hand to the shoulder, right hand to the hip, step out, offset, turn, palm strike, cross step, turn, scoop, cross step, flip, step out, turn. That's butterfly palm. Step in, step out, low, leaning uppercut. Step in, step out, low, leaning uppercut. Step straight back, middle block. Notice I'm still in a toe to heel. Left hand reaches out, turn the waist, chop to the neck. Adjust your foot, thrusting elbow, dropping palm, back fist. So we lift 1, 2 with the sword fingers, cross step open, trapping hand, press, leaning stance thrust, middle block, turn to the corner, salute. Back 1, 2, 3, and we close. So deep breathing again. Very good. I'll take a quick sip of water and we'll continue. So one of the things on the butterfly palm position, you don't want to overdo it with the hands because the hands don't have a lot of leverage on their own. If you put them in a good position and turn the waist, then they work with the body very well. So that's just a level of coordination that we're striving for. And one other thing you might notice, we have this thrusting elbow, dropping palm, back fist technique. So Hung Kuen has a lot of kind of combination techniques where you strike, even if the person blocks, you change levels and drop. If you manage to hit, that drops them forward, and then you strike high. So these middle, low, high gate techniques, they're a very common part of what we have in our Hung Kuen system. And it's just something to pay attention to the details on those so that you don't just kind of run through it, but you have good position and good balance because of your stance at all times. Okay, so next up we're going to do Bumble Kuen. This is the third form we teach here. This is the Chatseng Tonglong, the 7-star praying mantis system. And the reason we have this in our Hung Kuen system, I've said many times before, but is because our late great grandmaster Lam Jo put this in our Hung Kuen curriculum. It's not a Hung Kuen form, but out of kind of deference to his friend who was also a 7-star praying mantis master, and he saw that form, he really liked it. And so kind of as a show of respect to his friend, and also just because he really liked it, he put that in, and it's a tradition that we carry on today. So you'll notice visually that this Bumble Kuen, it's a northern form, it's not a traditional southern form. So a lot of the characteristics are different. The stances are longer and the technique's a little more ranging and linear. They strike out. Not that we don't strike out in Hung Kuen, but it's just a different methodology. And also this form has this the imagery of a mantis, but even things like this where we're striking out with the mantis here, we have this same motion in butterfly palm. It's just a different delivery and execution. So, okay. I may adjust my stepping just to make sure that I stay on frame. Here we go. Lift, press, high block, punch, come across, hop, 1, 2, 3, thrust, step all the way through, punch, cross step, big circle, dip, knee up, I'm going to step back, normally you'd step through, elbow, back fist, turn, lift, capture, pull, high block, ginger fist, scoop, vertical, hop, 1, 2, 3, thrust, punch, feet together, lift, 1, 2, 3, hop, 1, 2, 3, thrust. I'm pretty sure I'm off camera there. And so I'll come back. I thrust out, step through, punch, grab, step back, pull. Low block, palm strike. You're in a leaning stance. Step out, leaning stance, left elbow. Step out, cat stance, hook with your left, right elbow. Step out, high block, step through, chop. Scoop, we pivot, double elbow, step out, leaning stance thrust, punch, sweep, 1, 2, vertical, kick, hop, kick, strike, uppercut, press, lift and cut, press, lift and cut, press, lift and cut, middle, 1, 2, 3, toe out, step through, uppercut, sweep. Sorry, I'll move back just to, again to stay in frame. Sweeping, 1, 2, 3, turn, lift, pop, go, sweep. Sweep, sweep, chop, hook, back fist, pull back, hop, 1, 2, 3, thrust, step all the way through, punch, pivot, horizontal to vertical, pivot, step up, double elbow, and close. So again, deep breathing. And at this point, I'll get Sifu to come on back in.
So this is probably the last class streamed out till after the New Year, because tomorrow, I don't know if any of you are watching from further out, but we're going to get a big snowstorm today and tomorrow, so most likely we're going to be closed even before we thought we would take vacation. So the thing is, definitely we're going to be closing tomorrow night, because we'll probably have upward of 12 inches, but then it could be as much as 20 inches. So I think most of us will be doing a lot of cleaning up before we can even start any of the classes. So anyways, one of the things I've been focusing on was stance work with a lot of, the forms, because most people focus on the hands. So, when you go through your leg work, it's important to shift your weight, but then, how do we pivot our feet? Even going from here to a front kick, you have to turn out like this. You go from, say, a 45-degree corner, and a lot of the movements that we go into the corners, it doesn't seem like most of the newer people are able to find what 45 degrees is. But if you work your feet properly, and that's actually just facing this corner and then facing this corner, if you open your stance, then you're in the 45. If you offset it, you're still looking into that corner. If I look at that corner and go to a traditional horse stance and offset it here, that's your 45-degree line. In fact, your unicorn step, the butterfly palm, taking in from the second form, if I'm here and I pivot, I should be in this corner. If I cross step walking along that 45 line, my push will be in that corner. Now, when I take this step, if I point my toe in this corner, meaning this front foot, and I step across and point this foot to that corner, and I go into the offset horse, I would be directly in the 45-degree corner on that line. So, sometimes people are a little confused with how do you get the 45 degree? Well, just think of yourself standing in a square. So a lot of times people have tiles in your home, whatever. Your 45-degree line is corner to corner. So you have to imagine yourself in the square and you turn into that corner. So that's pretty standard for most martial arts because even mixed martial arts, they use an octagon. In Chinese martial arts, we use the octagon. The octagon is an 8-sided direction. So if you get to the level where you're learning the tiger crane form, it's still going in those 8 directions as a directional movement, but it's crossing those reference points. It's still the shape of an octagon. Going into the corner in the system that has the 8 corners, sometimes they use a Chinese character for rice, and the Chinese character actually has those corner dots where you kind of define where the direction is. So when you move and you're in the frontal position and you turn 45 degrees and you turn 45 degrees, that direction is really how we sidestep. So the fact that we go from a front position to a punch, or go from here to a dragon claw, this is 45 degrees on either side. That's really a 90-degree turn. So you just have to imagine your opponent being in front of you and you walk off to 45 degrees. When you get to this point and you turn back, now that turning back, depending on, in training we go to 45 degrees. That turning back, if you had an opponent, would be turning into the, facing your opponent directly. So that's where you have to adjust your footwork. But during form, you don't adjust your footwork based on your opponent because the opponent's imaginary. What you're doing is defining your space. So working your space is very important. If you're in a square position like this and I go like this, like in the 4th form, and I go into the corner, that's where those 2 movements are. Now when you go to the side, you have to adjust your feet so that you have that full side position. If you're punching this way, this is 90 degrees or in the frontal direction, but your body is facing this way. It's not partially facing this way. So that's what body form is. As you progress in your form, after sequence, you have to fix your body form. And the body form is these postures that we're learning over this period of time, memorizing a sequence. So while we're memorizing a sequence, we have to understand what a posture is. So the posture has an image and it has a transition. So how we get from one position to the next is really what we're learning in a form. Now, a lot of traditionalists understand this. People that are not a traditionalist kind of want to do just the movement and figure that they can apply it like that. And it's true. You can, if you take a movement, you work it over and over again, the form seems to be irrelevant. But the thing is, there is a relevance to form if you're trying to build an understanding of body mechanics. So that's really a whole different level of understanding beyond sequence. So that's where it starts to break down as your skill level. Anyone can memorize a sequence and kind of run through it, but can anyone just randomly memorize it and run through it with any true understanding? Probably not. Because what happens after form and you start to build understanding becomes, understanding strength, understanding the vectors and the directions of your movement, and understanding how the body has to integrate in order for you to be effective. So when we go into a stance, we have to sink, we adjust our feet, and we have to turn. So the 5 stances, all of these movements are actually building a transition if you're using it in the form. So what a drill is typically taking a movement out and doing it over and over again. So for instance, if you're here and you're learning this transition and you're corrected, if you don't abide by the correction and you just do it the same old way that you're doing it, then you haven't evolved. But if you don't understand what the correction is, then you have to actually ask the question, why is it like that? Well, the reason why I like that is because the movement has a specific space that you're working with. I heard Lucian going over the butterfly palms. Well, the butterfly palm, is here. Even though you're turning from side to side, it's still in your front. Because anyone that's punching to your chest is punching to your chest. So if I turn to the side like this, the punch isn't coming to my chest, it's coming this way. So I have to move in this direction. So if it's coming here to my chest, then I move away. If it's coming here, I move away. So it's really directed to this space. If this is a big target, then if I turn 45 degrees, the target gets smaller. So that's really how you have to approach it to understand where your body is facing. So when we do a form and we turn like this, there's a reason for that. 2 reasons why that movement has to be like that. First, you're in this suspended stance. Second is when you turn like that, you increase the length of your movement because your body went from a shoulder position here to a shoulder position here. The distance from this point to where that shoulder was is elongated. So the elongation of that motion made this fist go from here to there. So there's an advantage in length. Now, because we're turning, we have an advantage in this hand grabbing and pulling, but not really pulling, it's because it's a function of that turn. So movements that work as an integrated fashion become a function of. So function of movement becomes a movement that is created and related to what happens as the action. If I'm like this as a punch, that's the length. If I turn like this, it got a little bit longer. And you have same with the shoulder. I mean, my shoulder's here, and my shoulder ends up here because I punched. That means the movement got longer. So in our style, any of the Hung Gar styles that has a leaning to a transition to a horse stance punch is really changing the profile of the movement and changing the length of the movement. So that makes it somewhat more effective lengthwise, because then if your opponent is still punching like this and you go like this and you have the same length of arm, obviously the person that turns is going to have the advantage. So the same thing applies if you sidestep, and if you don't move in, if you sidestep and just stay here, you actually can't connect with this side. Well, this side is shorter than this side. So that's why when you're doing your transitions or you're moving, you have to understand, the characteristic of the look, but also what's the advantage of that position. There's always, something in the posture that's going to be unique, and you're not going to be able to discover that unless you're on the track of understanding the profile and the positions that is varied in the different postures. Because why do we learn so many different postures? Because they're unique in its own way. But the other thing is, through the traditional form, what do we learn? We learn transitions. We learn as an idea of setting up a scenario. A scenario is a situation where you imagine this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And it's true that things don't happen in that fashion all the time because it's unique to every situation. But the thing is this, how are you going to recognize what a different transition is unless you go through a process of knowing how to move from one place to another? So what is moving from one place to another? Well, shifting of the weight, moving this foot, crossing over, stepping to here, twisting, So twisting and stepping and turning requires agility of footwork. So footwork is the most essential part of actually sparring and moving with an opponent, because you can only do so much with your hands. No matter how fast your hand is, if you can't reach the target, it doesn't matter. So that's why you have to learn footwork. So how do you learn footwork in the traditional arts? Is through the stance, right? Through the stance, through the leg work, through the transitions from one place to another in the form. So what is that? It's a mapping. It's a mapping of footwork like a road work. So we call it a routine. When you're doing your forms and you're moving from side to side and you're crossing over and you're spinning and you're going to back fists, this is just 5 stances. But look at what you have to do to get into all these. That's the second form. So all of the things. This is the first form, right? This is the second form. There's not a lot of difference between the two except for the strikes. One is a palm strike, one is a chop. So the form goes like this and it goes to here. So that's because you're profiling here and you're utilizing this movement. But in application, if I'm here and I go like this, that's a partial position. If I go like this, that's an extract of a chop. This is to the middle, this is to the cut. So all of those two things are a variation of the same movement, but the thing is that variation allows you to adapt to a situation that might be unique to, an assault or an opponent attacking you. So the thing is, if my hand is here, if I cut, it's like this. My hand is here and I turn like this, it's a low block. I turn like this, I go to high block, it's like this. But the body has to respond, has to respond, has to respond. How does it respond? It responds based on what you've learned over time that has entered what we call the subconscious behavior. And the subconscious behavior, where the movements become an action that you, through form, that you didn't really have to think about. That's what happens when you memorize sequence. Then it becomes, over another period of time, reflex. So that reflex action becomes a perception. How do you deal with something coming at you and respond to it with what we call the controlled reflex? So, controlled reflex has to do with, if you're moving, this is already avoiding. You don't need to go through 10 million steps in order to get to that point. All you do is shift. All I do is shift. But that shifting comes from the body mechanics that we've learned in our form or our function or the transition of the body's integration. So while I do this and then I do a step, that's 2 independent movements. So if you can step and move and then step and move, then that becomes a coordinated movement. So that's what you have to understand. And if you understand that aspect of it, then when you practice your forms, you might have a different mind intent. Your mind really drives all of this understanding because it's fed. But this information you're being fed, if you don't house it and if you just overlook it, let it go in one ear out the other, then your form is going to stay exactly the way it is today. It's not going anywhere. So anyways, on that note, have a good vacation, have a good holiday. You can still continue to watch those videos that are up there. You can watch this one again, and there's enough content there to take you through many years of practice. But the thing is, if you watched it once, just like you see a movie that's really fast moving or very insightful, you might have missed something. So people like to see a movie twice. So go back and revisit it, see it again. And if you're learning sequence, you're going to have to constantly do that, because if you don't get it the first time around, you're going to try to pick it up the second time around. So just going through the old videos is going to be a big advantage, because something on that first video that you watched was missed. So based just